guys, this is Jessica with Chapter Chicks, and today I am here to talk about a series that has really had me obsessed lately. I definitely contributed to my getting back into reading and being able to dive right into series again, and that is the second book and the third book in the Lux series. It's called Saga Lux, I think, by Jennifer L. Armentrout. I did a review over Obsidian a while back and I really liked the book, and after I read it, it just happened to be around my birthday, so I immediately bought these on Amazon, and then I put them back and never picked them up again until recently. I knew when I got back into reading that it was a series that I wanted to start because of how much I liked the first one, but I never expected it to get as good as it did. So I'm just going to start off the review for these by saying, if you're going to read these, have the rest of them ready, especially Opal. Have the fourth one ready after you read this, because I'm going crazy. I even went down to the bookstore the day after I read this and to get the fourth one, and they didn't have it, and I was about to die. So I have to order it on Amazon, which I'm really bummed about having to do, but at least I'll be able to. I even thought about getting the Kindle version, because it's only like $5 of the fourth one. Opposition, I think that might be the fifth one. Yeah, it's so good, and after you get done reading it, you just want more. You just can't stop wanting to know about Damon and Katie. So I'm going to get started and do a book review over each one separately, but I wanted to kind of do them both in one video. That way it wasn't too separate when I'm just going to be saying the same things, because I read them one after the other. So Onyx is the second book in the series. I don't really like the cover very much. It makes Damon look all greasy, and Katie is not all clingy like that. She is not annoying like that, and I was insulted. Basically, like I said, I read this about a year ago, and this book picks up right where the first one leaves off. I didn't feel like I forgot anything. Well, I forgot everything, but this book does such a great job of bringing you right back into the story and reminding you what happened in the last one without giving you way too much detail. I felt like these characters are just so easy to love. This is definitely one of my new favorite series. I should have said that before I started really getting into it, but it's definitely one of my top series. It's not quite up to par with like Harry Potter and the Mortal Instruments and those huge series, but if I'm listing off my favorites, it's the first one that's not one of the big five. So definitely a new favorite series for me, and I'm planning on going back and picking up other things from Jennifer L. Armentrout. So let's get started. First of all, as I said in my Obsidian review, I believe, Katie, the main character, is a book blogger, which is awesome. She talks about all kinds of fun things that have to do with the YA book world, and there's even these cute little scenes that Damon gets involved with her books, and it's like, oh, I just need me a man like Damon. There's a whole Damon obsession called Damon Invasion, because if you know this much about the series, I'm like, a little spoiler here, so if you haven't read Obsidian, don't watch, but it's Damon Invasion because it's an alien invasion, and Damon's an alien, you know. So I fell in love with the series. I couldn't put it down. The plot is so cool. I've read one or two other alien books, and none of them were nearly as good as this. It was more just like, oh, aliens are coming, like what are we going to do? One of them was supposed to be a comedy. I forget what the book was called. But it creates a whole other mythical creature for me, and it's just as good as any vampire, werewolf, or anything like that lore. I would believe that this is real lore, if I didn't know otherwise. So while this one was very good, much better than Obsidian, even though I liked Obsidian, I felt like Opal really put the book series over the edge for me. It was perfect. I loved it. It left on such a cliffhanger, and it just brought the series around for me, and now this book is what made it one of my favorites. It's just so good. I can't believe what's going on, and I definitely want to check out more about it. I don't want to say too much because I was trying to explain this to someone, and there's just nothing that you can say that isn't a spoiler for the series, because it does leave so much to chance in the first ones. You don't really know anything about it, so I don't want to say too much about it, just that I really enjoyed them. This one leaves you on a huge cliffhanger. I was sitting there, and I'm like still flabbergasted when I think about it. I just have to know what happens next in the series, and the whole time it was really good. It really just, there was no filling in either one of these books. It was just, everything that was happening was organic. The only complaint I have about the series is that there are some very immature dialogue. There is some very immature dialogue in between Damon and Katie. I feel like they've been through so much, and a lot of their feelings, even if they don't want to admit them, are incredibly strong for each other, and just some of the banter between them feels kind of icky to me. But at the same time, Katie is supposed to be a teenager, and I can't even imagine the stuff I said when I was a teenager. So it might just be me being more adult reading young adult instead of being a young adult reading young adult. But I felt but it didn't actually hinder anything in the story for me. Another thing that kind of got on my nerves was Damon. I mean, I love him to death, don't get me wrong. He is one of my favorite boys in books, boy crushes, I guess? Book boy crushes. Hashtag book boy crushes. But he is definitely one of my favorite book boy crushes. But I felt like for an alien, he wasn't very serious about some very important things. He kind of made just a tad too many jokes. But other than that, completely perfect. I wouldn't change a thing about the story. I wouldn't change a thing about the other part of the characters. And the other characters' dialogue is usually pretty perfect. I felt like it was just so believable to me. It didn't feel like I was reading. It felt like I was just watching this world. So that's what I want from a book. That's what makes a book excellent for me. So this series is a must read. Like I said, I did the two together just because I felt like it was easier. I read them one right after the other, so they all kind of run together for me. But I definitely plan on picking up the 4th and 5th one right away as soon as I can, and just devouring the series. Now I'm going to kind of go into a spoiler section just because Opal left on such a cliffhanger that I can't even not talk about it with you guys. So if you haven't read up to Opal, I'm not talking anything about the 4th or 5th one because like I said, I haven't read them, but up to Opal, spoilers are coming, so just watch out. Don't watch it if you haven't read that far. So, oh my gosh, so I don't even know where to begin. So the whole time I thought for sure Damon was getting captured. I felt it. I felt that Damon was getting captured. I'm like, this is not going to go well. And then I was reading it, and towards the end of books, when it gets to the really actiony part, I do admit sometimes I'm a skimmer, just because I have to know what's going on. And I started skimming a little bit, not a lot, because this was like really good action, but I started skimming a little bit, and then I got to the point where Blake smiled, and I'm like, oh my gosh, no. Something is about to go down, like shit is about to get real. And I watched it, I was reading it, and I was watching it in my head, and I'm like, oh my gosh, no. And then the blue wall shut down on Katie, and she got stuck, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, you've got to be kidding me. This is not happening right now. I do not have the 4th book. This cannot be happening with like 10 pages left in the book. But it does. And her and Damon are just sitting there staring at each other, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is the worst thing ever. And I just want to read the line. I just want to read it. I can't help it. They were going back to save Bethany for Dawson, and then now Damon loses Katie, and it's like, this cannot be happening. And there's no way. It was planned the whole time. Blake had it all planned out so he could get his friend back, and the DOD wouldn't chase him. And so Katie is stuck in the room with all the Aram, I don't know how to say it, but she's stuck, and it's just, I saw the words that said it was too late, and I could not believe it, because Katie's so strong. But then Blake had her Opal, and she says, it will be okay, I whispered as tears filled my eyes. The doors were coming out of the ceiling and the floor. Damon's green eyes held a glassy sheen. His arm reached out, fingers splayed. They never reached the laser on our door. Or the door. I love you, Katie. Always have, always will, he said, voice thick and hoarse with panic. I will come back for you. I will. The emergency door sealed shut with a soft thud. I love you, I said. But Damon was gone. Oh my gosh. It's just so intense to me. I don't know if it's just because I happen to read them both all at once, but I was just like sitting there like, no. And then yes, it actually happened, and I just didn't know what to do with myself. And I will admit, I did sneak a little peek on the Amazon about the first chapter of the next one, and I'm just sitting there like, Josh, I need to buy it. And I almost bought it on Kindle just so I could read it right then, but then like, no, this book series deserves my hard copy love. He's like, just buy it on Kindle and then buy it again in paperback so you have it. I'm like, you don't know me. You don't do that in real life, okay? But oh my gosh, I almost did because it's so good. I am obsessed with this series. It is the first series that has made me feel this way in a really long time. So I should probably stop talking about it now.